If you go to the page on my channel that has, well, other channels, you'll find a bunch of different content creators that I have listed here as my favorite channels and inspirations. These are people that in some way or another have and or still continue to influence the way that I make content and or other things about how I well, no, yeah, just some way or another in how I make content. Vosh, of course, is the main inspiration there. I literally have everything set up that way with like the little picture of me in the bottom here. I have the all that stuff. Hassan, of course, is one of the people that influences that as well, and of course, Vosh and Hassan are where I get the majority of my like political information and stuff from. And we have all these other different people here that have inspired me in some way or another. I got into commentary in general because of Hellfire commentaries, Brain Scratch commentaries, and then we Sunset City is like it combines a ton of stuff, including a political commentator by the name of Cirrus Skeptic, who is kind of more got his start in like the atheist community, which is what Genetically Modified Skeptic and Jack and Glenn are from. Anyway, so it all kind of like builds upon each other with all this stuff that I have, right? But and some with Jimmy Snow, and I want to talk about Hunter Avallone. You see, recently Hunter is going through a divorce. His wife, Carissa, had he and Carissa are well, they're having a divorce. According to him, it's very amicable. And he made a post about it on Twitter, basically asking people, please stay out of it. It's not really your concern. Just leave leave us to handle this. Why he would make a post about it, I don't know exactly, but in any case, of course, his haters are taking this as an opportunity to shit on him. Some people are saying, "Oh, Hunter got cucked," and all these other different things. And there is some kind of dicey stuff we'll get into here regarding their relationship. But I want to just take a look at this video I came across in which Left Maxing by I Hypocrite, the Hunter Avallone story. Now, we're gonna play this clip later, but I Hypocrite actually had a pretty infamous debate with Vosh back in 3 years ago, and you know what? Let's go ahead and check that out first. You'll get kind of a vibe of the way this guy kind of operates and everything.
Twitter data.
So I think at this point you've kind of conceded the discussion and are now just memeing. And at this point, I think I'm giving you free publicity, which I'm going to consider charging you for. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah, send me an invoice, bitch, for the free publicity.
My videos get consistently more views than yours, even though I'm a much newer channel and have fewer subscribers.
Oh, again with the elitist attitude.
By the way, I love that comment because in retrospect, Vosh currently has 441,000. I Hypocrite currently has 98.4 thousand. So even at that point, while he was correct, and yeah, he is absolutely, or was rising at the time.
Again, there we go.
Are you mad that I'm zooming past you on the fucking
and he did
on the fucking social blade
I'm
rankings?
happy for you. I just don't understand why you gotta talk down to people who you don't consider your equals like that.
Well, you're not my equal because you're poor. It's because you're like cripplingly stupid, and you know it. Which is why the first half of this discussion was us like discussing points, at least to the best of your extent, and the second half was you like conceding memes. But that's okay. That's kind of how I expected this discussion would go. All of you are the same. Actually, I have a compliment to pay before we end. It's a sincere compliment, okay? You are just like Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or James Alsop or Nick Fuentes or any of those other people, because all of you are the same. Literally every single one of you. You'll adopt arguments when you think they support your emotionally held positions, but the moment the moment that data seems to turn against you, you'll drop it like a hot iron and start running back to the memes. You're going to run back to your Twitter followers and cradle your fucking thumb after this and complain about how I did this or that, or maybe you'll comb over the VOD and find one thing I said that in certain context sounds a little dumb and you'll make fun of that. But at the end of the day, and I really hope you internalize this, you got blown the fuck out. And it's not because your points are bad. It's because your points are bad and you're stupid.
You're fat.
So that's the level of intellectualism, we'll say, that we're dealing with here. By the way, he's right, and it wasn't anything that he was like, shy about. But yeah, Bosch was absolutely fat at the time. Look at the dude now. He really put in the work. I think he's a good example of someone who, like, you can better yourself and change your life and your fitness and all that stuff around. And he did that. But with that shown, let's get into the actual video here of left maxing, the Hunter Avallone story.
What is up, my little hippo critters? I'm coming at you with the hot gauze today. The gauze is so hot, it's got me talking like a teenage schoolgirl. Now, last week on the Daily Cope, I had mentioned a little announcement at the start of the show that I saw a tweet from Hunter Avallone saying that he was getting divorced from his wife, Clarissa. At the time, I said, that's the news, but I'm not going to speculate about it. I'm not going to make fun of him or anything like that. Divorce is a terrible thing. And as a general rule, it's not my policy to kick people while they are down. Having said that, if it then comes out that the reason for your divorce is because your wife was doing OnlyFans and she was getting blacked behind your back by a porn star and she wanted to open up the marriage, and at that point you are still expecting me to not make fun of you a little bit, look, I'm sorry, but
I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me.
Yes, you heard all of that right. We have the receipts. The evidence is just overwhelming that all of this is true. And in addition to that, we're even going to get some more gossip about Destiny and Lauren Southern, straight from the mouth of Clarissa Avallone. It's an intersection of e-drama. We're going to get into all of it right now. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. Just as King Charles III.
Jesus Christ. Goddamn sponsors. Okay. So there's a little intro. I could go over that and kind of pick that apart in a minute here, but we'll go through it piece by piece.
Former anti-SJW YouTuber who gained hundreds of thousands of yours with your own quality. Your wealth. Hunter Avallone, if you don't know, is a former anti-SJW YouTuber who gained hundreds of thousands of subscribers back during the golden era of anti-SJW videos, who then later reformed himself and became basically...
By the way, Hunter also currently has hundreds more thousand subscribers than this guy.
A liberal who spent the last few years going around debating right-wing chuds in order to own them about trans rights or whatever. I'll be honest, I've never really paid much attention to the guy at all. Even back in 2015, when I was sitting at my computer 8 hours a day listening to anti-SJW videos while I did my day job, I just never had any interest in Hunter Avallone. I would see this reply gif. You guys remember back then, there was like all these reply gifs you would see on Twitter of like Shoe on Head and Chris Ray Gun and Hunter Avallone, and somebody would post some like cringe, and somebody would like unironically reply with this Hunter Avallone gif where he's saying it's time to destroy all cucks and he's waving a plastic sword around. And I always thought, like, how is this guy a poster child for conservatism? He looks like a theater kid.
Because all you have to do to be a poster child for conservatism is say the points. That's it. You just have to say the talking points. You just have to be transphobic, racist, bigoted in some other way, and there you go. The cons will love you.
And I know even less about Clarissa. I've seen people say that both Hunter and Clarissa were raised religiously. They were raised in conservative Christian families. And then at some point after getting married to each other, they basically rebelled against this, turned on religion, and became liberals. Today we're going to find out how those life choices are working out, thanks to a video that was posted yesterday by a YouTuber by the name of Kingston Hawk, who has a story he wants to share with us.
Hey y'all, this is Kingston Hawk. Just gonna go on a quick rant. Real
So this is where the penny drops.
quick backstory. I did a debate with Hunter Avallone like a year ago, and I guess I've been following this chick because of that. She was like saying her own shit about the same topic, and I seen it, and so I just commented, and I can't remember what I commented, but just something to the extent of like, I don't think she knew what she was talking about. Well, she was real polite about it. She was like, if you don't think I know what I'm talking about, why don't we debate? And I'm like, cool. So we jump in the DMs and we're debating the topic, and she actually seems a lot more reasonable than Hunter. She's got a lot more reasonable position. So me and her, we get along. And she's like, well, shit, we can continue to debate, but why don't you just call me? Like, let's just use Discord and let's just, voice call. I'm like, all right, fuck it. So we talk later at night. We spend a little while talking about the debate, but we kind of agree on most things. So we spend hours just talking about her life and my life. And it's funny because when we started getting into my life, that's when, things changed and got sexual. Because, I've been in an adult.
Okay. Oh my God. This text is going to be kind of in the way, but here, we'll switch it up. Can we just, okay, good. Okay, so we'll go through the text here. Don't know what happened before this. This looks like this is on Discord they were talking. He says, you crop your face too much. That's the hottest part. I agree. The hottest part of a woman is normally her face. I guess she sent him a nude. much better. You're much more sexy when I'm getting confident vibe from you. So, okay, now notice the date here, May 24th of this year. Now, according to Hunter, and he did his own video going over this stuff in the addressing the insane rumors, and we'll get to that in a minute here. But according to Hunter, in his own video here, what effectively happened was he and Carissa were already discussing for around the past year or so, they were already discussing a divorce. They were already discussing and realizing like, hey, maybe things aren't really working out. Maybe we should see other people kind of thing. Like, maybe we should separate. Maybe we should get a divorce. So to blame it on that kind of thing, some people are doing this thing where they're saying like, oh, Hunter got cucked, she cheated on him, this kind of stuff. Which, by the way, just to be real clear about this, as somebody who has actually gone through that, has actually been cheated on by not my wife, but my ex-fiance, it's a really horrible thing to have happen to you, and it's really fucked up to use that as a type of gotcha, like, oh, you're not a man because you were cheated on. It's like, nah, dude, no matter what, whether you're a man or woman or whatever you are, if your partner cheated on you, that's an L on them, not an L on you. You know what I mean? But that goes into like how, you know, real quick on that, the reason men think that in general, because it's normally men, right, that push that like, oh, she cheated on you, you're not a man, is because the idea of taking a man's woman is because it's seen as, you know, taking his property, taking something that he values. And it's like, oh, I took your girl. I really like the quote. I don't remember who said it, where it's from or whatever, but if a man takes your girl, he did you a favor. So even if this is true, and she was cheating on him with Sean, I think his name is. I keep wanting to call him like Sean Kingston, but I'm pretty sure that's a rapper. That the guy who did like the... Was Sean Kingston the guy that did the like, you're too beautiful girl, that's why it'll never work? Was that him? Hang on, now I gotta look this up real quick. Oh, so beautiful. Is it? Yeah, that was him. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay, my bad. So what is this guy's name, so I don't keep calling him Sean Kingston? It's something... what is this? Just K? Sean K... What was his name? All right, tell me, dude.
By the name of Kingston Hawk.
Kingston Hawk. That's why I thought Sean Kingston. Gotcha. Okay. So, all right.
Got sexual because, you know, I've been in the adult industry.
All right, little editor's note here. I've added the black censorship box over what was a nude photo of Carissa Avallone. I think I was saying Clarissa. It looks like it's actually Carissa in the screenshot there. In the original video,
Kingston... Whoops. Get the subtitles back.
Hawk had blurred out the naughty bits, but her face was clearly visible. This is still a little bit too in the territory of revenge porn for me to take any chances with, so I'm not going to be showing any of Carissa's nudes. Blurred
I can appreciate that he doesn't want to, yeah.
Otherwise in this video. What I can tell you is that I was looking into this last night and I confirmed everything. Basically, Carissa had an OnlyFans account, she had webcam accounts, and she also had an alternate Twitter account.
Good news about this, by the way. None of this is accessible anymore. When I originally watched this video, I went on a search, and I went to see, like, by searching for this name, searching for you can find some like stuff that's from like screenshots of her like webcam shows or whatever. It looks like where like you can find like a little like hazy screenshot or something, but for the most part, her content, her adult content is gone. And I think that's good, because if she doesn't want it to exist anymore and she put it up in the first place, that's good. You know, content creators should have control over their own content. So if someone wants to make that and then say, okay, I don't want this online anymore, they should be able to do that. That's good.
All under the name Kiara Quinn XXX. She was posting everything, even for free, right on Twitter. I saw it all myself last night. I saw her butthole. I mean,
I've seen everything. Yeah, I've seen it all.
Now, since the video has come out, Carissa has gone into total damage control mode. She's deleted the Kiara Quinn Twitter account. She's deleted her main primary Twitter account. There was a Reddit account under the username Kiara Quinn XXX that was deleted when I clicked on it. I'll assume she was also posting her nudes on Reddit. But my free cams link still works. That's still alive. So, you know, if you want to trust but verify, you can just pop that username into Google and see what comes up for yourself. All right. Viewer discretion is advised.
Although entertainment industry, let's be clear.
We're going to pause again here because the YouTuber, he's just flashing through these screenshots, but I think it behooves us to actually take a quick look at what's actually being said.
He's going to take a look? Okay.
Here. So he says to her, tell me what your sex life would look like if you had complete freedom to do and try whatever you want to. No pandering. Give me your most honest answer. And she replies, I think I would start with fucking you. I know you would be kind, but also give constructive criticism. Then I would want to fuck the Australian guy because he's fat and funny. He says, you want to learn to be better sexually? And she says, yes. I tried to ride a dildo on the chair and my quads were burning after like 3 minutes. LOL.
For like 15 years. So
you're more interested in fucking particular people than doing particular things. Yeah, at first I think. I've only fucked one very small category of people, guys who have grown up incredibly conservative and Christian, and a girl with the same background. I want some atheist dick. LOL. I also want to do a cream pie gangbang. That's insanely hot to me, and he heart reacted that. Oh, Hunter bros, I don't feel so good.
All right, so Okay, there's going to be a decent amount of like sex negativity from this dude and slut shaming and all that stuff. I want to point out something real quick. It's going to come up later and become more apparent. But what it really seems like throughout this whole thing is that, Kingston brings it up later too. Man, it seems like she just wants to have a hoe phase, as some people call it, right? She just wants to slut it up. And for those that don't know, I don't use slut as a derogatory term. I just mean it as someone who's like sexually free and exploring and open and all that stuff, right? So if she wants to do that, that's great. I wouldn't recommend doing it with this like amateur dude, especially the cream pie gangbang. I think, in all honesty, from everything that I've seen talked about her in this way, I think her best bet is to get into mainstream professional adult content. Like, there's a website called Cream Pie Gangbang where you can actually, or is it Gangbang Cream Pie? I don't remember. No, Gangbang Cream Pie. Where you can actually, like, normally they take like, professional, performers in the industry, but they'll take regular people too, who, like, for some people, it's their first shoot with a professional agency. If you're going to do something like that, please, and I would say this for anybody, if you want to do that kind of thing, please do it in like a safe, controlled environment, not with some like random dude who's an OnlyFans camera guy or whatever he is, manager or something. I don't know. But like, I don't think that, and it doesn't even seem like Hunter does, that like think that she did anything wrong. She's just, because they were separated by this point. He had announced the divorce a while after they'd been separated, but they'd been separated for a while at this point.
That's something that she was really interested in. Her ears perked up. It also led to us kind of, talking sexual with each other.
Are you guys reading this? I mean, look, I can't read it all. It's too much, but just imagine this.
I'll read it. Okay. This part. Here we go, right? So, this is something that was actually taken out of context here. So, we have this part. Okay. So, you like that to Stanley Hot. This would be very fun to me. I'll turn off the captions here. So, she says, I'd also like to fuck my ex if he's as good as I remember. LOL, he's probably not. So, that would be fun. He might be able to last a little longer. He's like, I love your deviant side. She says, because back then he lasted 2 pumps, which I took as a compliment. He's the greatest compliment I could give you, busting early. I popped his cherry, so he didn't have much option, I guess. How long do you think he'd last? He says, it's completely situational, but if I'm trying to impress, I won't let it happen for at least a while. So people are taking this part, I believe, or this, like, something, they're excluding this part of the conversation.
And ears perked up. It also led to,
yeah, like this whole thing, and using it to make it seem like she's talking about Hunter. She's not talking about Hunter. She means her ex-boyfriend. She doesn't mean Hunter.
Us kind of, talking sexual with each other.
Are you guys reading this? I mean, look, I can't read it all. It's too much, but just imagine this is what your wife is doing behind your back. Yikes.
Like, she was sending nudes all the time.
Not behind his back. They were separated at this point. She has full right to do this.
How do you feel about this? Do I look good?
The way that he said it in his video about this is basically, yeah, there were some things that she said that were kind of hurtful, but for the most part, it's fine.
OnlyFans, that type of shit. I'm just kind of coaching her, and we.
Okay, so wait, what am I? Okay, so we have this whole thing. He's like, it's completely situated. Just keep thinking about grandma. Yeah, so that's a joke, right? Okay, so real quick, by the way, really what they're talking about here is edging, and the best advice and I think anybody could probably give you in terms of like edging for real is if you're about to bust, just stop and eat her out. Let's do that. Eat her out, make out. Like, there are other things you can do sexually rather than just actually fucking. Like, there's more than just penetration to sex. So, just give yourself a minute, chill out, and get back to it.
Like, she was sending nudes all the time. How do you feel about
Okay. So basically they're okay. At this point, they're just sexting each other, which again, this was May of this year. They were already separated, right? I'm not going to read their sexting conversation, but you can see it here.
this? Do I look good enough to have OnlyFans? That type of shit. I'm just kind of coaching her, and we talking all sexual and shit. You know, she bought tickets where she's supposed to fly out actually this week, you know, to Houston, you know, so we can make it physical. Well, I got a message. Somebody I ain't never seen before. Somebody just messaged me and told me, hey, you know, somebody from that side said some things, and just letting you know this is what's being said about you. And at first, I'm thinking, man, it sounds like some bullshit. I know Hunter got a bunch of like haters and shit, but even I'm like, damn, like, how would anybody know that me and girl talking? This is supposed to be real discreet because she got her marriage going on. And, you know, she said she'd been planning on kind of getting rid of this nigga, but she hadn't done it yet. And I was telling her, don't do that right now because of, you know, like, he gonna get mad and he finna just start fucking shit up, you know, trying to make your life hell because you're leaving him.
Pretty solid advice, to be honest. But yeah, it sounds like Carissa was telling other people behind the scenes what she was up to, and then word got out. I mean, this is just terrible offset. It's like the man said, you're supposed to be discreet.
Well, I started hitting her up, and, you know, she was sick for a little while, at least that's what she told me. So I'm hitting her like, hey, you good? What's up? And I started noticing that she ghosted me. So I'm like, damn, maybe what was told to me was true. And I'll insert some things. Like, 'cause one of the things that made me feel like, okay, this probably did actually happen is I remembered how we were talking, because first we were talking on Twitter, and just right out the gate, we don't even talking for like maybe a few days, a week or something. And she was just like, hey, you want some dirt on Destiny? I'm like, wait, what?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so if this is
right out the gate, we don't even talking for like maybe a few days, a week or something. And she was just like, hey, you want some dirt on Destiny? I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, pause. Now, I talked about this on a recent episode of The Daily Cope. I've purged a lot of content from my YouTube channel last couple days because I'm trying to get remonetized. I don't think this video is going to be particularly helpful for that, but it's too good to resist. I've said that I'll put a link to my Rumble account if you want to get some of the backstory on the rumors that are going around about Destiny and Lauren. These are being told by a guy named Rollo Tomasi, aka The Rational Male, who claims to be in contact with Lauren's ex-husband, and there's all kinds of stuff there, but one of the most explosive and insane sounding things that Rollo relayed is that Lauren and Destiny have a daughter together, a secret love child that they've kept hidden from the public. I mean, this is obviously insane, right? There's no way this is true, right? However, that would...
So, here's the thing. First of all, wait, does he actually read what is said?
Be a reason for them to get married, like we're seeing here in the screenshot. And I'll also add to this that...
Okay, so here's the thing. If this is true, where Carissa really did just tell Kingston, she was like, hey, let me just tell you some crazy shit about Destiny. You guys know Destiny. I Hypocrite just showed him. Destiny, of course, you know, Vosh came from his community. Hunter, you know, likes Destiny a fair amount. I like him enough as well. So, you know, we have this whole thing where she's dishing dirt on Destiny. She's like, well, you know, yeah, he and Lauren Southern were gonna get together, and she was even gonna be monogamous. And then Melina, he was gonna divorce Melina, who's his wife that he's in a seemingly very healthy open marriage with. He was gonna divorce her and get with Lauren Southern. They had a kid together. She moved to Melina moved to Texas. Anyway, you can read this, right? So
Mr. Girl, aka Max Karsten, he put out this big thing about how Destiny, you know, like manipulates women, uses his clout to get women to sleep with him, etc. And one of the people he interviewed is a like Twitch streamer by the name of Avallone. And I remember seeing from Avallone some very similar story about how Melina was going to leave Destiny, or their relationship was like on the verge of completely falling apart, but then they worked it out. I didn't think much about that at the time, like, oh, your open relationship is struggling, but then you worked it out, okay, whatever. But now I'm thinking this might corroborate that a little bit and vice versa, because the timeline kind of matches up. Like, Lauren Southern's name wasn't mentioned by Avallone, but the timeline kind of lines up. Anyways, I'm not saying that this part is real. You can decide for yourself what's going on with Lauren Southern and Destiny. All I know is they say there's no smoke without fire. And I'm seeing a lot of motherfucking smoke these days.
okay, so here's my issue with this. Whether or not this is true, if Carissa did just offer this information, this dirt, this tea on someone else that she knows, that does not speak well to her character at all. Now, I don't know anything about Carissa. I've seen her on like one thing, one debate that she had with Hunter. They had like a, you know, like a friendly, if you will, debate about gender and stuff. And I thought it was really cute, actually, because Hunter ended it. It was about sex and gender. Hunter ended it by saying, like, you know, gender is whatever he said gender is, and sex is something I think we should have after I'm done streaming. And she like giggled, and she was like, okay, and, you know, that's kind of cute, right? From everything that I could tell, it seemed like they had a good relationship, but you don't really know. You know, you don't really know any of these people, and I talk about that all the time, right? You don't know me, you don't know Destiny, you don't know Hunter, you don't know Vosh, you don't know Hassan, you don't know any of these people. You don't know any of us. You don't know any of your favorite content creators. You don't know any of us. Even if we like try to share as much of our life with you guys as possible, you don't actually know us, and you never will unless you're like actually friends with us. Like, my friends know me, but like, you know, my friends and family and all that, but you guys don't, and you never will. So just, you know. Anyway, okay. So, but yeah, no, if that's true, again, like I say, like, honestly, what might be the case, and I don't know this for a fact, But what might be the case is that maybe Carissa just wasn't a good person. Maybe she just isn't a good person. Maybe it's better for Hunter and everyone else that she's out of his life. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're offering up tea like this, that doesn't speak well to your character.
Okay, let me hear it. And she starts telling me all about how Destiny and Lauren Southern were in a full-blown relationship and they were going to be monogamous together. And then last minute, Lauren Southern pulled out. So then, Melina left him, but then, she went to Texas and Destiny had to kind of go crawling back to her and just kind of, take it as sloppy seconds because he really wanted to be with Lauren. And I'm just like, damn, like,
Wait, what was that? Figured him and her fucked, but I didn't. Okay, gotcha.
Destiny had to kind of go crawling back to her and just kind of, take it as sloppy seconds because he really wanted to be with Lauren. And I'm just like, damn, like, while she's telling me this, and yeah, it's entertaining, I ain't gonna front. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, damn, like, no one asked you for any of this. You just unprompted, just volunteered this shit, this whole man's other life story. And so, when it comes to my shit, and when I'm texting her and she's ghosted me now, I'm thinking, damn, she might know that somebody snitched. They might be using it against her. Like, hey, I just fucked up your whole shit. I told this nigga what you've been talking about. And so I'm like, damn, like, I bet this motherfucker really, did say what they said. So.
Yeah, I gotta say, Ebonics aside, this guy has been spitting the entire.
Jesus, I love how he has to throw in that racist thing, calling him Ebonics. Like, fucking. Great eye, hypocrite. Lovely.
Video. Like, he obviously knows what he's talking about. And this is a very good point he's making. Now, if you need me to translate the jive, I can do that for you.
Can we not with the fucking racist bullshit? He's not even... Okay.
I speak jive. Oh, good.
What he's saying is that if you're...
Okay, I will say that is a funny bit on Airplane. That Airplane's a really good movie, and that is actually a funny bit. But also, in that movie, they're actually speaking... Whatever, anyway.
Talking to somebody and that person starts dishing random info that they know about somebody else, talking about somebody else behind their back, spreading around gossip about that person, that is a signal to you that this is somebody you can't trust, because if they would do it to somebody else, how do you know they're not going to go spread your shit around out there?
No, 100%. No, it doesn't reflect well on her character, or anybody that does that. It doesn't reflect well on their character at all. It reflects poorly even on their character.
I'm gonna make this video and I'm gonna just put everything out there. If a motherfucker lying on you, I sincerely feel like the best way to deal with that is just tell the whole truth. Show everything. Show all the receipts, show the logs, do everything. And now motherfucker who's hating on you, hey, everybody get to decide and they get to see. So in this video...
All right, so he was very vague about what exactly Carissa was saying about him, but now we kind of have the context to deduce that it seems like she was probably saying something along the lines of, like, he was hitting on her, but she wasn't into it, he was sex pesting her or whatever, and so he's putting out the receipts so everybody can judge for themselves who was cream pieing who.
Actually, Hunter did go through that.
He says he's gonna keep...
Oh, Jesus. Hunter did go through that. Let me see if I can find it here. So the logs. Is this the part... Talked it over a lot of... Basically... Let's see if I can find it here. Hunter... I highly recommend watching this whole video, by the way, if you're curious about this stuff. But basically, yeah, Hunter pointed out... Here, check this out. Okay, so that was the part that we went over already. Where's the part here? So I guess the whole point was he was trying to, like, he was supposed to be coaching her into, doing, what do you call it? Doing OnlyFans and stuff like that. I guess he was basically trying to be like her manager or what have you. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, I think this is the part.
You then switch up and start flirting. You're the type I could see being a great girlfriend. Bring me along. And he said, I don't... Something is completely fucking false.
Okay, here we go.
First, you can see here, now on May 17th, Kingston is talking about a photo shoot, and she was asking if she could bring me along. And he said, I don't mind him coming, but he doesn't have to. I'm not going to try to fuck you. When I'm in business mode, I want to get as much work done as possible. So he's trying really hard to, like, come off as, like, a very, friendly, nice guy. You can trust me, Well, fucking 2 days later, May 23rd, he completely backtracks on what he said. He says, even with you, our first convo went so well, and I liked your personality so much, I was giving way too much. And you can tell Chris is like, thank you, I think, okay? And he's like, it's a compliment. You're a likable girl. If I was a square, I'd be trying to date you. You're the type I could see being a great girlfriend. So 3 days after you tell her you're not going to try to fuck her, don't worry, you're just keeping this professional, you then switch up and start flirting with her hardcore. This guy is a scummy piece of shit. He is absolutely a scumbag, dude. He's a total piece of shit. It's hilarious. And then let's see. You can also see that multiple times, Carissa was bringing me up to further say, can you stop flirting with me? Because this is making me uncomfortable, bro. And then he starts going full-blown manipulation mode. He says, I just hate feeling that you process every sexual decision through will it anger my husband. I know that's how you're taught to operate, but from my perspective, it makes me feel like you're not an individual human. Like I'm somehow flirting with Hunter instead of you. He's supposed to be just advising her with the OnlyFans stuff. He has connections to other OnlyFans models. This is not just some random guy talking a big game. He actually had connections and it was obvious that he knew what he was doing. He says he's gonna keep everything professional, switches on a dime, decides to say, actually, I think it's even a great girlfriend, and now is trying to gaslight her into thinking that she's been taught. to just accept that Hunter's in charge. He is such a manipulative, subhuman piece of garbage. Yeah, some of the messages Carissa sent to the guy I do think were flirty and also definitely are a little bit hurtful. But at the same time, when I see stuff like this, I'm like, I think that there were definitely better ways she could have handled it. But on the flip side, the narrative that like she was just flirting with other guys because Hunter was just so fucking lame, it's bullshit. The guy was getting more and more coercive and more manipulative. And I got to a point where I was like, the guy is bad news, and it's obvious because of the way that he reacted when she finally did cut him off. So there's him being a super.
Yeah. So there you go.
I'm gonna go back and edit in, and I'm gonna throw up like text messages and nothing crazy. I ain't trying to dox nobody. You know, they keep fronting to the public, and what really happened is she just wants to fuck mad dick. Like that's what she like.
Jesus, this guy talks slow. I mean, did you see the difference? I have both of these on 2x speed, and you saw how fast Hunter was, and then how this guy is so fucking slow. Holy shit. Whatever. Anyway, okay. Yeah, no, I agree with this. I think she just wants to fuck around. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You know, slut praising over slut shaming, all that good stuff. Obviously, of course, if you're in a relationship, you know, it's a different story. But, yeah.
About me is I told her stories about when we was in high school, how we had homies that were girls and we weren't possessive over them. Like you could come to the crib, fuck me one day, fuck the homie the next day, fuck the other homie the next day, and you were still accepted amongst the crew. We just shared all the girls with everybody, and she was looking at it like, God damn, I didn't know this was possible. Like, you know, the idea that like, you know, y'all just let a chick do her whole shit and don't judge her for it. And I'm like, yeah, nigga, like
it is not possible. For the record, even guys like that who will say they don't care because they want to bang the hose, they don't actually respect the hose. Okay,
that's not necessarily. God, I love how this guy he has to insert hypocrite. He has to insert his racism. He has to insert his sex negativity. He has to insert all this bullshit. No, dude, you absolutely can let a girl do her hoe thing and still respect her. Like, I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it again and again and again and again, I'm sure. But, like, if you cannot view a woman as a sexual being and understand that she is hoeing around and respect her, you have an issue with women and you have an issue with sex. And I understand that I hypocrite absolutely does. But holy shit, dude.
we all like sex. We all like, you know, why should I hate on you because you slut? Well, I'm a slut. Don't make sense to me. So like me and her bonded over that shit. Like we got along. Like
hey, at least he understands the concept of slut shaming. Or why it's horrible and why slut praising is the way.
You want to be slutty and she want to fuck mad dudes. I'll fuck mad chicks. What's there to beef about? That's how I look at it at least. But dude.
True.
You know, like he's super vanilla. She's talking about he got performance issues. Oh. You know, she want to go to swinger clubs and he's not sure. Like even their breakup that he announced, that wasn't supposed to happen. That's why he took it down so fast. She told him, hey, let's just try having an open relationship at first. You know, that way she can get some dick, can get some pussy. And then maybe that'll make the relationship stronger because you'll see that it's not the end of the world to fuck other people. Well, this nerd, you know, he went out and made a statement and kind of just blew everything up. And then he was like, well, I'm going to go and live with my guy friend. It still wouldn't have been nobody else's business.
Based Hunter, to be totally honest, you know, it's tough when you're out here in the public eye going through something like this and you know everyone's going to make fun of you. But it actually takes kind of a set of balls to say, you know what, I'd rather have people make fun of me and have my marriage publicly fall apart than remain with a whore for a wife. Kind of big.
I disagree with that. Like, okay, here's the thing, right? Relationships of all kind, whether it be romantic, platonic, a marriage, a dating relationship, whatever, they fall apart because the people in the relationship are no longer on the same page. They're ultimately no longer compatible. If you are in a relationship and you want to be monogamous, as Hunter clearly does, and his wife is saying, hey, let's try an open relationship. If you are wanting to remain monogamous and you only want to be monogamous, you have every right to end that and say, hey, I don't want that. I want to be with a monogamous partner. And if they're then saying, I want to see other people, you can respect that and say, okay, we have to split up. We have to go our separate ways. And it hurts like a motherfucker. Absolutely. But I think, I will say, there are times where Hunter has talked about relationships and monogamy and non-monogamy and all that in his debates with other people. And I gotta say, knowing this now, I think that his disdain, it seems, for non-monogamy and saying like how unhealthy it is and all that stuff, I think is very much projection. I think he legitimately does want to be monogamous, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just like anything else. When we advocate for choice for something, that also means there's a choice to not do that thing. So while I think for a lot of people, non-monogamy would absolutely be beneficial for their relationship, if you want to have a monogamous relationship, there is nothing wrong with that either. So it's not like Hunter was in the wrong for wanting monogamy and Carissa was in the right because she wanted to sleep around. It's just that they wanted different things, which is ultimately what causes a breakup of any kind. You want different things. You aren't compatible anymore. It is what it is. It just, yeah, it is what it is. But I don't like this narrative that's being pushed that, and Hunter even said, there were some things she said that were kind of hurtful. Yeah, that shit's fucked up. But in general, she wasn't really in the wrong. And people are pointing out this thing, and again, iHypocrite especially is using this to hit all the boxes. We had racism, we're having sex negativity and slut shaming. He's hitting them all.
If y'all ain't feel like y'all had to dirty my name and shit for whatever reason, and who knows, because if she lying to her husband about me, why should I believe she's not lying to me about what she's telling her husband? She's probably telling Hunter the whole time, like, like this is a girlfriend who's just giving me advice and shit. When really, she's supposed to be jumping on the flight. She's supposed to come this week, come get some dick. And then, okay, let's throw this in there.
Which is also, by the way, why I think, now I have a friend, one of my best friends thinks that every man needs this. He doesn't think every woman needs this. I think everyone needs this. Or at least most people should be able to have this if they want it. A type of hoe phase, if you will. There's also the phrase, of course, sowing your wild oats. I've talked about before how I personally, due to religious upbringing and stuff similar to Carissa and Hunter, I was taught to view sex and relationships in a very specific way, so I never really had the chance to sow my wild oats. Once I deconstructed all that and moved on from that, now I'm at a point where I need to, I also let myself go physically and stuff in the process, so now I'm at a point that I need to get myself in good shape and get myself to the point that I am able to attract the kind of women that I'm attracted to. I've talked about this before, like this is a big thing that a journey that I'm on and have been on for a while and all this stuff, right? And then I will be able to, well, I call it making up for lost time. You can call it a hoe phase, you can call it sowing wild oats, you can call it sleeping, you can call it whatever the fuck you want. But I want to do that and find somebody who, I would hope they've had a lot of experience too. And we can bring that experience that we've had together and form a really healthy relationship. My hope is that I would eventually find a life partner who we would be together for the rest of our life, whether we're married or just boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever the case. And I think what I tend to kind of veer toward more is ethical non-monogamy. And basically what I would want specifically, and I think this kind of thing could have worked for Hunter and Chris as well. But again, if one person wants it and the other person doesn't, you're at an impasse. And yeah, grounds to end the relationship. No one did anything wrong, but just on different pages. It happens. So the way that I think I would want it to work, and what I think probably would have worked for them too, is basically romantically monogamous, sexually non-monogamous. Like, in a relationship in which my partner and I, we only have like the romantic moments and the anniversaries and the actual dates and all that with each other, and the Valentine's Day, all that shit, right? But we can both either together or separately have sex with other people. I think that that's fair. I think that that is that could be a healthy way. But also, when setting up relationships in general, you have to set boundaries. Now, if we're in that situation, and I later say, "Hey, I'd like to be, I'd like to actually close the relationship," or she says that, that would be grounds for re-examining the relationship. And if we're not on the same page, we break up. Or like, "Hey, I want to be emotionally non-monogamous too." It's like, okay, well, we either figure out how this is going to work, or we break up. Doesn't mean we can't still be amicable. Doesn't mean we can't still be friends. Doesn't mean we can't still hook up. Just means we're on different pages for our life and our relationship and what we want with each other. So we're not going to work in this relationship that we've had so far. Same thing with what Hunter's dealing with here. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is what it is.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna put this in the video. Part of me feels like what happened is probably she told Hunter about me. Maybe he went through her phone or some shit, and then he told her, "Hey, ghost that nigga, or it's gonna be problems." And then he went and talked to his little nerd audience about me, and it might be one of the little nerds from his audience that hit me up because they don't really fuck with him the way he thought they fuck with him. That's my speculation, but obviously it's just speculation. But yeah, okay. So the other day she hit me up like, "Hey," because she always like desperate for money. And it's weird because she supposedly got a good job. She's like, how can I make 5,000 real quick? I'm like, dog, I can't call it because that's not how this goes. Like the way I instruct people is you got to treat this shit like a real job. You got to grind. It's a million other girls competing with you. And you got to outcompete them. They know fast.
It is true. He's right that, look, guys, sex work is work, and that means it takes time to get to the level of being like a, you know, real big like professional or just like having a fan base and making a lot of money and stuff like that. You're not all gonna just start out and you're immediately Lana Rhoades. You know what I mean? You're gonna start out and you're gonna go. And a lot of people, just like any other business, and especially in entertainment, don't make it. You know, like that is true. That is absolutely true as well.
To the top, you just got to grind like crazy, and she never wanted to do that. She just wanted to kind of get to the end point, you know, get some money. So she hits me back like, I got this dude who's saying he'll give me like $7,000 if you can set up a gangbang. You know, how difficult would that be for you to set that up for me? And she's like, hey, if you can set up a gangbang, it's got to be all black dudes. He wants me to do it outdoors, and it's a bunch of black dudes. And I told him, I'm cool with y'all peeing on me. Y'all just can't.
Dude, just work with dog fart. If you want blacks on blondes, like just do. Come on, man, Carissa. If this is what you want, fine. But come on, man.
My mouth and my eyes. Y'all go see the receipts.
Some random. All right.
But she's like, how could I, you know, could you set that up for me? I'll give you a cut. And shit, I'm like, yeah. I mean, if you could travel, I'll set it up because of, I got homeboys out here and shit. You know, we can run a train on you and everybody gonna be cool on camera. But obviously, I'm not gonna do that shit for free. That's a lot of work. You know, we supposed to be fucking, but now I gotta go recruit 5 other niggas. You know, like you asked me to do a real.
You can read all this, by the way. I'm not going through all this here.
No, so I'm like, okay. And she's cool too. She's like, hey, you know, I'll give you a cut. This was kind of like our last conversation, really, where, you know, we were talking about that, trying to set all that up. Eventually, she decided she thinks dude wasn't good for the money, so, you know, we dropped all that.
Okay, I hope you guys have been taking the time to read the text. I know it's hard to listen and read, but holy shit, go back if you didn't. And like this part right here is hilarious to me. I had no idea he was going to announce it like he did everywhere, and we agreed to start with a separation to evaluate if we wanted an open marriage, which apparently he forgot about. Oh man, I hate when that happens, when you announce your divorce and your wife is like, wait a minute, did you forget about the open marriage? Oh shit, slipped my mind.
No, that is a legitimate thing. Because it's like, bro, all you're doing, oh my god, this fucking closed-minded idiot. When you come to your partner and you have been monogamous or non-monogamous, whatever the case, and you are wanting to change the boundaries, change the setup of the relationship, that's all that you're doing. You're saying, hey, I know the relationship has been running this way. I would like it to run this way. What do you think? Now, if I look at it like a contract, if you are wanting to reevaluate and change the terms and conditions of the contract, then the person who is being given that option and signing the contract has full right to say, no, I'm not interested, and we have to end our relationship. Happens in businesses, happens with people in general. That's what you're doing. You're saying, hey, I want to reevaluate things, and if they say, I don't want to reevaluate things, or I don't like what you've proposed, you can either work together and reevaluate stuff, or you just say, all right, we're done. I don't want to be a part of this. Especially if it's, hey, we're monogamous, I don't want to be monogamous anymore, or hey, we're, you know, non-monogamous, I want to be monogamous now. That's a very difficult thing, because it's like, they're probably going to do it without you. You know, I mean, honestly, like, it is very true. It happens to a lot of people. It does happen to women too. You know, a lot of people think it's only with men, but it happens with women a lot too, where if they haven't had that experience, that hoe phase, again, like I talked about before, they want to experience that. And I think that's very much what we're seeing with Carissa here. What's funny is you can actually use this as arguments against the kind of stuff that I, hypocrite, would argue for. Things like, you know, this is why it's a good idea to allow and encourage people to experiment with multiple different people and experience different things in different people before they settle down with one partner for the rest of their life. This is why the advice of waiting until marriage to have sex is cancerous to a healthy relationship. It can work, don't get me wrong, but generally speaking, it's good to have some experience and all those different things. And, you know, I think Carissa is doing very much what I want to do. And look, if Hunter doesn't want to do that, he doesn't have to, right? But I think what she's trying to do is make up for lost time. I get it. I'm trying to do the same thing. Once I get to the point that I can, I will. But you know, there's nothing wrong with doing these kind of things. But of course, hypocrite has to turn this into some a moral downfall. Oh, this is Hunter's fault because all this bullshit. Yeah.
It's in my mind, but I feel horrible about the whole thing.
No! And then, it turns into some other shit. And I don't know, I feel like this video's been going too long already. I feel like as long as I throw in the receipts, I'm gonna go back in, I'm throwing the receipts, y'all kind of get the gist of everything. And y'all just kind of see that, like, the cause for the breakup is what they said it was. Those two just don't got good chemistry. Like, she wants to sell pussy, and he wants, like, a housewife. But she said, like, he was getting insecure. Like, when she started jumping on the cam sites, she was making more money camming than he is from streaming. So it's like, she makes all the money. This nigga, she said he can't be with the kids alone. He gets overwhelmed. So she makes all the money. She does all the child duties. And he's got performance issues sexually. So she's like, this nigga takes forever to come. He just, man, I'm not really blaming her for wanting to leave this nigga. My opinion. And it's just my opinion, but keep it real. If the girl got to make all the money, she's making more money than you, and y'all got kids, and she do all the taking care of kids. Like, when she's supposed to fly out here, she was like, I gotta get my mom, who's not even that healthy, to take the kids, because this nigga can't be alone with the kids for 2 days. And then she's thinking, now that y'all broken up, that you gonna be fine taking the kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays so she can go suck dick. Hunter ain't going for that. And I mean, so maybe I'm biased on her side, even though I shouldn't be, because clearly she was talking shit. But if I'm in his position, maybe I don't fuck with her either. And maybe he don't even know. It's part of the reason why I'm throwing in the fucking receipts, because of who knows what lie she done told this dude. If I'm hearing what I'm hearing about myself, she probably done told this nigga all sorts of shit that don't make sense. He probably wondering how I even got her phone number. Although I see it at silence half the time, she probably hid that shit. So it's like, hey, it is what it is. I'm just getting out in front of shit because if y'all not finna dirty up my name.
Hey, man, it really is weird how people are using this to say, like, oh, this is an L for Hunter. Again, even if Carissa actually was cheating on him, which Hunter has gone on record and said, and he watched this video, by the way, that I'm going over here. But, like, that's what he's not I Hypocrites video, but the original one that Kingston did. And he was responding to that. It's not an L for him. It's just, why does it have, why? I think this also speaks to, like, the dynamic a lot of people set up, where they think that dating and sex and relationships and all this stuff and marriage and all this has to be like a battle. It's, oh, she won, she won, he lost, he won, she lost. That kind. It's like, no, dude, they're human beings that had a relationship. They are no longer compatible. That's what it ultimately comes down to. Is they were no longer compatible. Maybe they weren't ever compatible. I don't know. But they aren't compatible. They want different things out of life. They're separating so they can have those different things. There is nothing wrong with that. But people try to take this and be, oh, it's an L, it's an L. It's not a fucking L. It's just people change and grow, and, like, can we be fucking adults about this shit?
It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, that's basically it for his video. I mean, oof, rough out there. It's time to destroy all cucks indeed. The irony, a little bit palpable. Now, I do feel bad for Hunter a little bit, but it would be easier to feel bad for him if he didn't go down this road of liberalism, because this is where that road leads, frankly. Like, you did it to yourself.
Yeah, So here we have this whole, God, I fucking hate this guy with his goddamn fucking little cutaways. Yeah, I think this is Weezer, by the way. You did it to yourself. I think that's Weezer. I'm not sure. Anyway. What's this? But he's got to do this virtuous, like, oh, this is because he's a leftist, because he left God and he became more liberal and blah blah blah. Like, fuck off, dude. I know for myself, and people will do this. This other guy did a video, and Hunter responded to this one too. Just today, actually, at the time of recording. Speaking of the time of recording, it's currently July 4th as I record this, so apologies for any fireworks in the background there. But yeah, he did this, responded to this video yesterday, where this guy did this whole thing where he's like, oh yeah, I think Hunter's changing and he's reevaluating things. He's gonna become Christian again because this is where his atheism and his liberalism left him. Who's the guy? Where's the dude? Really? This guy. I don't know who he is, but anyway. So people are taking this to spin this narrative, like, oh, this is because he's liberal now. And Hunter even talked about, and I can relate to this because I was the same way, where Hunter was miserable when he was conservative and he was Christian and all that stuff. He was extremely lonely. He was miserable. He hated his life. I get that. I'll go into this in more detail at some point in the future, but for me, my own examining and ultimately deconstruction or walking away from my religious beliefs and was because I was so miserable with my faith. I was miserable with what I believed, and, like, I was tired of constantly justifying it to myself and everything, and I started to, you know, kind of look at the other side and follow the evidence where it led, and you know, it I guess the evidence deconverted me, if you will, right? You know, learning facts and all that shit, you know, and then you know, politically, I wasn't really aware for the most part, but when with everything that happened in 2020, especially the murder of George Floyd, that just really, that was the point where I could no longer look away. Like, I saw this person being murdered on camera in front of other people in broad daylight, and it was just like allowed to happen. It was the wildest shit to me. So that was when I could no longer look away. But anyway, moving on here. I think we're gonna have more to go through here. I don't think he's just gonna do like a ad read or whatever. Let's see.
Out, which is that somebody posted an article on Twitter about their divorce. I don't think the article has all the cuck shit in there, but it was talking about how like Hunter doesn't like Islam, and he's been going off about Islam over the last couple months or whatever. And Carissa, before she had deleted her Twitter account, she replied to that article on Twitter, and he said, "Hey, could you please take out the comment on Islam? I don't see eye to eye with Hunter on that, and I prefer me and my kids' names not be associated with that."
I know Hunter did what do you call it? Tweeted these people and was like, "Hey, can you take my kids out of this? Like, I don't want their names in there," which is valid.
Carissa, darling, I gotta tell you something. I have a suspicion that Hunter's Islamophobia is going to be the least of your kids' worries.
Yeah, no, this is true. Kids absolutely are bullied and have shit that happens because of their mother doing sex work, which is absolutely disgusting. And again, this is part of slut shaming and sex negativity and all this different stuff, and it's awful, it's horrible. It's also very much like sins of the father kind of stuff, although this is more sins of the mother. But this is a whole nother topic that I want to get into more specifically in the future. This is a whole nother thing. It's absolutely disgusting how people will do that shit.
But anyway, that's the video. It's always sad to see a marriage fall apart. You know, people are calling him Hunter Cry Alone now, which is just brutal. I don't know what to tell you, man. Liberalism.
Yeah, liberalism. Yeah. Jesus. No, man, it really is just as simple as Hunter and Crystal were together. They seemingly loved each other. They had children together. They drifted apart over time, and they found that there are different people who want different things. Hunter wants a housewife. She wants to fuck around. There's nothing wrong with that. They want different things. They split up. But people who are taking this and turning this into like oh, Hunter's a cuck, oh, Hunter this, Hunter that, and this is because he's liberal, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. It's just the relationship ran its course. Now it's over. Yes, it's sad. It sucks, but they seem to be handling it well. Leave him alone. Just chill. Calm down. Like, I get it. These people hate him. They want him to burn and destroy him, right? But like, no. Just be adults about this. They're broken up and they're getting a divorce. That's it. People who loved each other fell out of love, are no longer compatible. It happens. Calm down. It's okay. Anyway, as always, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below. Follow me on social media for more. Subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date. Leave a like if you like. And if not, I hope you find something you do like. Later, guys. Peace and love.